let's just basically say what objectivism is. Okay?
And make a long speech about it?
Oh, not too long. No.
No, because that's terribly difficult, you know. To begin with, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophic system. And philosophy is the science that studies the basic nature of existence. So it's a pretty technical subject. And anything I say briefly will not really do justice to my philosophy, but I can try to summarize it.
Well, could I ask you some specifics then about it?
Yes, sure.
All right. How does, quote, I fit into the philosophy of objectivism? How does objectivism relate to me, the individual? What does it do for me?
Are you a human being?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it relates to you. It tells you how to lead your life and how to achieve things, how to be happy. It tells you the fundamental principles by which you can make your own choices. Above all, it tells you that you have the means to make these choices, that your mind is valid, that the reality you perceive really exists, and that is epistemology.
Mm-hmm.
That's a branch of philosophy, and then it tells you how to make by what principles to guide the basic choices of your life.
Now, there are many philosophies that would offer that to an individual.
Oh, yes.
There are religions that offer it. There
Yes.
are forms of government that offer it. How does...
Not forms of government. That's politics. That's a different branch. That comes later.
Well, yes, but governments in some areas, in some instances, would define for you choices or dictate to you
yeah.
how to live your life.
Yeah.
But I'll retract governments and just say religions are
Yeah.
philosophies. How does objectivism differ from the philosophies that many of us have been exposed to in our youths? Philosophies based upon religions, theologians, dogmatists.
The very first difference. Objectivism tells you that it is not right, it is not proper to man to take anything on faith. Religion is a matter of faith. You accept a religion emotionally or because you were born to it. You have not chosen it rationally. What objectivism will tell you is that reason, man's reason is his basic means of survival. That is the most important faculty which he has, and he has to guide his life and make his choices by means of his rational faculty. Mm-hmm. He has to make his own choices, but he has to know how to make them. It is immoral for him to act on his emotions, to be guided by the whim of the moment. That objectivism holds as very wrong, very immoral, and morality, in fact, consists of following your reason to the best of your ability. So that rationality is the basic virtue from which all the others proceed.
Now, then you believe this for yourself, do you not? You accept this philosophy.
Oh,
it has
certainly.
guided your life. It has...
Yes. It has brought me where I am.
Okay. So that you believe in Ayn Rand, first and foremost.
Oh, certainly.
Not necessarily a God or a heaven or a hell or a government or some other people or forces beyond your control, but you believe in you.
I wouldn't put it that way. I could say that, yes, that's true to some extent, but it's very inexact because it isn't a matter of faith. I have confidence in my own rational ability. But more than that, I also know that if I had less abilities than I have, no matter what happened to me, my mind is all that I have to guide me. So that if I were me or the lowest girl in the class mentally, which I never was, the same morality would apply to me.
How smart, you brought this up now, that you were not the dumbest girl in the class.
No.
How smart were you in school when you were a little girl?
Very.
Yeah?
I was the top student. I went to 2 different schools in 2 different cities, and I was the top student there.
In addition to being the top student, did they ever measure your intelligence and tell your mom and dad, oh, this girl is so bright, this girl is a jewel?
No, in my time they didn't have those tests, not in Russia.
But you knew that you were smart.
Oh, yes.
Did you feel that school was too slow, that you were
Yes.
so far ahead of the material?
Yes.
How did you handle that? How did you school yourself really beyond the curriculum or curricula
Is
in the
it
school.
of interest to tell you?
Yes, it really is.
I always try to sit in the back row of a class, and I put a book in front of me, and I was writing novels from the age of 10. I was writing screenplays at 8, but I was writing novels in class because otherwise I would be terribly bored. I was never discovered because we had textbooks. And if you read ahead of the lesson that they present in class, you could know what the teacher said. Mm-hmm. I had to read the textbook just once, and then I knew the course. So I really think it had a bad influence on me, on my working discipline. It was too easy and too boring.
But how did it affect your working discipline?
I never had to make an effort. I certainly did have to when I began writing novels. That's really difficult. But in school, I had no difficulties.